Today on New England Living, we're heading to the North Shore for an old-fashioned clam bake with the family that started it all. And from Cambridge, Massachusetts to restaurants across the globe, we'll meet a man creating custom knives for some of the world's biggest names. Plus, renowned Bistro du Midi head chef Robert Siska joins us in the test kitchen for a classic French bistro recipe made simple. It all starts right now on New England Living. New England has a style all its own. The people, the history, the culture. Join us as we discover the faces and places, the design and destinations, everyone and everything that makes New England extraordinary. I mean, does it get any better than this? Love the place you call home with New England Living. Thanks for joining us today on New England Living. I'm your host, Rachel Holt. First up in Essex, we're sitting down with a family that's been perfecting the art of the clam bake for the last 100 years. Brothers Steve and Doug are co-CEOs of the family business and grandsons of founder Chubby Woodman. We're here in beautiful Essex. Not a bad place to run a business, huh?
Yeah, it's great being here right along the Great Marsh, the Essex River. Clam flats are right out there. That's where we get our clams for doing all our catering.
It doesn't get much fresher than that, does it?
Exactly.
Now, tell me about the origin of Woodman's.
Well, my grandfather started the business back in 1914. He's documented as doing his first clam bake in 1923, so we're coming up on 100 years.
So he devised a method of actually building these racks that you can put kettles, or what we call boilers, on top of these racks and put some pine underneath for a quick hot fire. And he could come onto a site and be serving people food in an hour.
Most of our menus are custom made, so whatever people want we'll do, and we actually do fried clams on a clam bake now also.
But the basic recipes are the same. The clam chowder is the same. The steamers are cooked the same way. The lobsters are still cooked the same way.
What makes Woodman's so special?
We source our seafood locally. Local clam flats in Essex or Ipswich or Gloucester, we source them there. And it's not just the freshness, you have to know where you're buying them from. Different flats produce a different type of clam for different types of reasons. And so you want to make sure you're buying quality product. Same thing with lobsters. Lobsters are as local as we can get them.
Not only is the food fresh and local, we also have customer service. That's how you grow up in the family. You care about the customer, and we agonize over all the small details. That's what makes Woodman's the best clam bake caterer in Massachusetts.
On the menu, you can see the family history in some of the menu items. Tell me about some of those.
Well, the first menu item that you see is the fried clam. And of course, we had to name it after my grandfather. He was known as Chubby Woodman, so we called it the Chubby Fried Clam Plate. His wife's name was Nana Bessie, and she used to make clam cakes, and we named the clam cakes after her. And it just so happened that I probably shucked most of the lobster on the property when I was growing up, so they named the lobster roll after me. It's Doug's Lobster Roll.
A lot of the items on your menu are gluten-free. Why is that something that you emphasize?
There's more allergies out there, and people are finding out that they have a gluten intolerance. There's never been any white flour in the recipe. It's all corn flour, and just about all of our fried seafood is gluten-free.
Walk me through the process of a clam bake. How does it work?
We do everything. They set up the cooking, set up the table, serve them with a smile on their face. We start off with the clam chowder. That can go first. Then the steamers come along with the corn. But then you have the lobster after that, and you serve the lobster and then dessert. They bring everything they need, and they take everything back, including the trash. We want the person that's having the party to be able to enjoy the guests that they invited.
And speaking of invited guests, I got to sit down for a special clam bake with 3 generations of Woodmans to learn about their family's success. I'm meeting a lot of Woodmans here today. How many work in the family business?
We currently have about 40 Woodmans working in the family business. So generation 3, there are 4 left. My generation is 4. There are 16 of us. Generation 5, there are 35. And then now G6, there are 9, soon to be 10.
There's very few clam bakes that go out the door that don't have at least one relative serving you at the table or cooking the food in the driveway.
I feel like each generation probably adds something new to the business. What's the difference there with the different generations that we can see here at the table?
Each generation takes the time to pass down what they've learned, and then also allows the new generation to not be living 100 years ago. Everyone has a voice at the table.
The biggest part of the family dynamic is that we all have respect for each other as individuals and family members. We've all been raised together. We pretty much know everything about each other in some sort.
Dedication, commitment, highs, lows, definitely run all the emotions on a daily, weekly basis, but we can all sit down and still enjoy each other's company at the end. So I think it's pretty great.
It's rare, right? You know, we never get to sit down and eat a lobster together because we're usually serving them and then we're like eating them in the back of the truck after the clam bake. So I think it's really nice that we're able to sit here together and have a chat about the business and the restaurant and the family.
One of the things that you've added over the years is a family foundation, and this is something that's very important to you now. Can you tell me about it?
About 35 years ago, when my grandfather passed away, we started what was then called the L. Dexter Woodman Scholarship. We're announcing soon that we're changing it to the L. Dexter Woodman Family Foundation so we can broaden the giving. Instead of just giving scholarships to students for school, we want to be able to give to needy families and things like Action Inc. so kids can have a good Christmas and just be able to give more. That's what our family is about.
Beyond their love for each other comes, of course, their love for all things seafood, especially lobster. And what's the big secret here to eating this the Woodman's way?
Well, the way I like to eat it is I always start with this claw first, the one with really sharp teeth. And where it's already been broken, you just take this part and you snap it off here, and this drops off. And if it doesn't drop out, that's why you have this. Use it as a pick. So you don't need a pick or a fork or anything like that. You just use that and break it and push it out. It's right in the butter for you. Dig in.
Well, thank you. You made it easy for me. Oh, wow. This is so fresh. What separates your lobster and makes it taste like this?
Well, I know with our lobsters, it's a fresh lobster and it's right out of the ocean. So that's the best way to have it. It's the freshest. It's the natural environment. It's not these artificial tanks with artificial salt water that they're sitting in all this time and taking in that water instead of the true ocean water. You're tasting the ocean.
You can taste the difference.
Yes.
With each clam bake, what experience are you hoping people walk away with?
Just a big memory of having a good time with good seafood, eating with their friends and just enjoying a meal, having good conversation. I think it just makes people feel like they went to a New England event and enjoyed their atmosphere, and when you have good food and good friends, you always end up happy at the end of the day.
And I'm gonna try to make some room for this, but now we have the dessert coming in, and you're famous for this. Tell me about this.
So what we're having today is homemade strawberry shortcake biscuit with fresh berries and whipped cream.
And I noticed the watermelon on the table too, so that's a staple as well?
Watermelon's been there as long as the clams have.
Well, this has been a truly incredible experience. I can't thank your family enough for welcoming me in, and of course, the delicious food. What should we toast to?
Chubby and Bessie.
Chubby and Bessie, who started it all. Cheers to them.
Cheers.
First generation. Without them, we wouldn't be here. Cheers.
Coming up after the break, we'll get an inside look at a world-renowned custom knife-making studio in Cambridge when New England Living returns after this.